Morning, everyone, or right now it's already afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. It's very nice to see all of you, so many of us here. So I hope that the noise from the rain coming into my window won't interrupt us and you will hear me well. Could you please drop a plus into the chat box if you can hear me well? All right, perfect. Perfect. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So today we are going to be talking how to boost interaction and engagement online. So our webinar will be very practical, and also I will ask you to work together with me to share your ideas. So please be ready for that. So let's probably, I will check if anyone, okay. So let's get into it and let's get started. When we think about our classes, well, before we used to have classes like this. We had face-to-face classes, right? When we could talk to our students easily, give them materials, show them something, come and help them if they needed our help, right? But then after quarantine started, everything changed. And from face-to-face classes, we moved to this, to online classes, and to this. And this is when our problems started, because all of us faced with the problem how to move our face-to-face class into an online class. So could you please, in the chat box, write your ideas. How is an online lesson different from offline lesson? Thank you, Ira. Harder to keep the concentration, right? Anna says lack of interaction between teacher and students. Agreed. Okay. Online lessons are more teacher-centered. Yes, more TTT. Yes, more teacher talk time. Yes. Sometimes it's difficult to see students' reaction. Absolutely, especially when their cameras are switched off. Yeah. Connection problems, right? Technical problems. Yes, Ira, this is a good idea. Harder to transform the exercises from offline to online format. Less effective. Difficult to monitor, yes, and see what they are doing. Absolutely. Difficult to build rapport. Harder to monitor. Yeah. Yeah, students are not that active as usually. Okay. Drilling is a mess. Yeah, absolutely agree. Difficult to work on listening, right? Thank you, Alina. All right, so we can see that a lot of problems we had to face when we moved from offline to online. Well, when I think about the classroom, yeah, what I have in my real classroom, well, the first thing I think of is, of course, a board. Yeah, and let's think how we could kind of take the board into online class. So normally we use platform Zoom. Yeah. Sorry. Normally we use platform Zoom, which allows us this to use the board. However, the many other platforms don't have a board, right? So let's think, what do we use a board for in the class? Can you please again write your ideas into the chat box? What do we use the board for? Victoria Potapova, if you have problems with the sound, could you please reconnect? We use the board for clarification, error correction, presenting new words, yes. For explanations, yeah, explaining grammar, right, meaningful pronunciation, okay. For brainstorming, yes, Anastasia, okay, Olena set the context, so many nice ideas, given instructions, presenting vocabulary, grammar, yeah, spelling, okay. For explaining, spelling, for voting, okay, okay. For using games, all right. Yes, you're absolutely right. So, as I've already said, only Zoom allows us to use a board, which is integrated into the platform. However, for example, not all of us prefer using Zoom for different reasons. And especially when you teach, for example, corporate classes, especially IT companies, they are usually not allowed to use Zoom, for example. So it might be a problem, and usually we are forced to use different platforms like, for example, Skype or Google Hangouts or Microsoft Teams or Discord, for example. And unfortunately, these platforms don't have a board. And here we need to think actually how we can do everything that we've just mentioned in an online lesson. So I'm going to share my screen with you. I'm sorry, Victoria, you raised your hand. Is there a problem? Could you please unmute yourself or write in a chat box? Victoria Potapova, do you need my help? Okay. I will mute everyone for now. So I'd like to show you a board which is called Miro. This is a platform which allows us to do a lot of different things. Well, first of all, we mentioned that we write on the board, yeah? And here we have a very nice tool, a pen. You can choose any color and you can draw something, for example. You can choose how thick you want it to be. Also, we can, of course, type. Type something. We can make our text bigger or smaller. We can choose different fonts. We can make text bolded and so on. We can highlight the text, which is very nice. And of course, we can use different things like, for example, arrows. Sometimes we also draw this on the board when we present, for example, grammar, different tenses. Also, we can make tables very easily. You just choose, for example, here, how many columns you want your table to be, and you are done. You can move, you can make them smaller, bigger. You can write something here, like very, oops, sorry. By double clicking here, you can write something. Again, you can highlight, make the text bolded, bigger, smaller, and so on. Another cool thing, we also use pictures in our classroom for different things, for elicitation, for presenting vocabulary, for setting up the context for our lesson. And Miro has a very nice thing which gives us an opportunity to immediately Google a picture. So you just press here on this G on Google, and let's say we need to show our students a picture of an apple. So easily, very quickly, you just choose a picture, select, and the picture is on the board. It's downloading, right? You can make it bigger, smaller. You can move it around the board, very easy. Then another very useful thing that this platform allows us to do, we can actually upload different documents. For example, I want to upload something, for example, a list of irregular verbs in a PDF file. So I just simply press here, upload, choose my device, and choose the file I need. I can move it around the board. I can make it bigger, smaller. And a very nice thing about Miro board is that actually your students can download this file on their computers by pressing here the button download, and they can save this and print it out, which is very nice. And it also helps you to share the materials with your students easily. Or, for example, I will show you another document that I'd like to upload here. For example, I have a document with 3 pages. I want to give my students homework to practice past simple, for example. Here you can see 3 pages. So a nice thing about this, they can, of course, download this file, or they can just flip the pages right here on the board. If they, for example, don't have an opportunity to print it out or something, they can just easily do these exercises in their copybooks. And then in the lesson, you again open the file here and check the exercise with your students, which is also, I think, very easy and really helpful. You can upload, again, any pictures from your device. For example, I don't know, I don't have any nice pictures here, but just for example. So you can share anything on this board. Also, what you can do, there is such a function as sticky note. You can choose any color you like. Let's take, for example, purple. And you can type something. Something here like some notes for your students. You can make them bigger, smaller, move around the board easily. These small little things here, these dots, they allow you to match, for example, these to some materials on the board and make your notes more visual. So now I'd like to show you a few examples from my real lessons. So here you can see vocabulary, presentation. I uploaded different photos, and then my students had these words here. They had to match, so basically drag and drop words to the pictures, and then we had we went through this, we checked. You see that I wrote some notes about pronunciation. We put the stress here with the pen. So it was very quick, and what I really like is, again, visual. Here, for example, you can see another example from my lesson where we were talking about present simple and adverbs of frequency. So this you can do easily by, for example, choosing here a shape. Let's say I want, I don't know, this shape. So I easily take this thing. I want a background, so I choose any color of the background. I can, sorry. So I can easily type something again. Again, I can bold information, underline, and so on and so forth. Here, for example, we were studying CAN with my elementary group. So here they had sentences, then we wrote a form. Then here we were talking about pronunciation, so the stress in the sentence and so on. This is another example. Here we had a text about rubbish, and then we underlined a sentence. We chose a sentence from the text. We broke a sentence into actions, discussed how many actions were there. So you can see that we were talking about past perfect here. Then again, we did the exercise where we had to decide which action was the first, which was the second, so what happened before another action in the past. So these are three examples how we can present language in our online class. Here we were talking about brainstorming, and actually Miro has a very nice option. You can brainstorm all together. So this is just an example from my lesson. How you do this, here on this panel, you can see mind map. So you press this, and you type, for example, something, I don't know, food. Let's say food. And then food, for example, you want them to brainstorm the words on vegetables and fruit. So you do this, and then easily by clicking on vegetables, for example, they can add as many different words as they want. And they can do this individually, they can do this together in groups, in pairs, however you decide. You can also change the theme. For example, you want your diagram to be like this. So it depends. You can change it back. You probably want to make it like this. So you can change it again. So this is talking about brainstorming. Another thing that we can do also, this is another example of my lesson. Here we were talking about writing. Writing an essay. So we first brainstormed the ideas. You see that I used those sticky notes. We had 3 ideas. Then we had an example of an essay, which we discussed. You see that I color coded and underlined here different information, so that again my students had visual support and visual record of everything that we were talking about. We did some exercises here. Here you can see, for example, just an exercise from your course book or student's book. You give this picture and they do the exercise by easily choosing text and typing something here in the gaps and putting everything into the gaps, for example, their answers or so on. So this is another example. All right. I will just check. If I have mentioned everything, because I have a lot of information I want to tell you and I'm afraid that I will forget something. Yes, the important thing is that when, for example, your students enter the board, they get excited or probably they might just do this because they are not used to working with this platform and they might accidentally move different things on the board. So to prevent this, Miro has very nice option. You just click on a document or anything that you want to lock and you press this lock here. It means that your students won't be able to move this object. To unlock, if, for example, you want to move this object to another place, you just press this button for a few seconds and it unlocks. You can move this thing easily again. All right. So let's get back to our presentation. Can you see my presentation? Can you please drop plus into the chat box? Thank you very much. Okay, thank you. So, we've discussed what we use our board for. Now, another thing that we have in our classroom is different posters, visuals, and so on. And well, actually, I showed you how we can take it into our online lesson and how we can use this with our Miro board. Well, the next thing that I think of, chairs and desks that our students, of course, use in a real classroom. And now let's think, what do they use desks and chairs for? Can you please drop your ideas into the chat box? Yes, Karina, I see your question. I will answer this question a bit later. We will talk about how they can work together with this board a bit later. Yeah, now can you, to work in groups. Okay, thank you, Ludmila. What else do our students use chairs and desks for? Sit and write, okay. To do projects together, very nice idea. Thank you, Juliana. Play games, absolutely right. To group, play games, okay, to write essays and dialogues, right, okay. Yes, absolutely agree with you. Also, well, they use them to, for example, spread their flashcards if we give them some activities with flashcards, right? All right, so you were absolutely right when you said that they work individually, basically, and in pairs. So how do they work together normally? Well, they can check exercises in pairs, for example, or they can do different activities like, again, spreading the flashcards, regrouping the flashcards, play board games. I agree. How do we monitor them? Here is very important question. In face-to-face class, we can easily come to them, right, and see what they are doing, see where probably which exercise they are doing, what sentence they are on. However, in an online lesson, this is actually quite difficult to see what they are doing. And let's talk about this a bit. So here, I will show you an example how it happens in a real lesson, in a real online lesson when you use Miro board. This video was recorded especially for this session, so it's not actually a real lesson, but this is very similar to what you will see and how it will happen in your lesson if you use Miro board. So here I want to show you an example of a reading lesson, how your students read, basically. So you can see, first of all, that the students move their cursors, and you, as a teacher, can see where they are on the board and what they are doing right now. Of course, I mean, they normally don't read like this. They are not moving their cursors while they're reading each word, but normally it happens like this. They move their cursor from, for example, this paragraph to this paragraph, then to this paragraph, because they move the board up and down. So more or less, you can see where they are. Okay. So this option actually gives us an opportunity to see where they are on the board and what they are doing. Now, this is another activity you can see here. So basically they had they had a few questions here, and they had to write their own ideas. Then they had, I regrouped them, and they had to talk and guess why, for example, Kirill wrote a rabbit or hoodie, something like that. So you can see actually that it's very easy to see what they are writing, which question they are on, how much they have already done. Well, here Kirill has done the most of all the students. So again, it's quite easy to monitor what they are doing. How you give them the place where they can work individually, well, easily. From this example, you just copy paste the worksheet basically for everyone. You can write their names here. For example, here Kirill, it was Sasha and Roma, and then you say, okay, now can you go here, find my cursor here on the board, and can you find your name? This is your worksheet. And then you just tell them what they have to do, and they work on their tasks. Right. Next thing, we mentioned with you board games. So again, this is an example. They weren't actually playing this board game, but just an example how it would look in an online lesson. So we have a board game here. And for example, you can see that I'm throwing a dice for them. So I have an application on my computer. I just share a screen with them, throw a dice for them, and they move. They move around the board and answer the questions or discuss something. And of course, you as a teacher can help them, control them, what they are doing. If, for example, you need to do this with groups, here I had only 3 students, but let's say you have 10 students, so you want to divide them into groups, for example, 5 and 5. You just simply copy paste the board game, make group 1, group 2, and they work in groups. So to show you, I will again share my board with you, and here is this board game. So to show you how they can make the checkers, well, they can go really creative here. They can choose different shapes, change their, for example, background color, whatever. They can make it different. You see here, they can type their names, for example, Anna. So they can do this themselves. You can prepare this before the lesson as a teacher if you don't want this to take too much time in the lesson. And they just simply take the object and move around the board. Easy. With the dice, I'm using MacBook, so I downloaded this application and I just use that one. If you can find a simple application or a program on to set up on your computer, you can just easily Google something like Dice Online, Google Dice Online. And they can use these dice themselves again. So it's very easy. To find a solution to this problem. Victoria Potapova asks me, how can we create them in this program? I mean, what are you talking about particularly? What can we create? Could you please answer in the chat box? Separate rooms for group work. Well, yes, if you use, for example, Zoom, you can put them into breakout rooms and you say, okay, your board is number 1, your board is number 2. They play in their groups. To do this, you can ask someone, for example, to Google these dice and to throw the dice for the whole group, so they cooperate together and play all together. One of them can actually share. Thank you, Igor. Thank you for help. One of them can share their screen to show the dice, or, for example, a coin if they flip a coin. And again, they cooperate and work all together. Okay. So board games are done. Let's go back to our presentation. Now, here you can see another activity. Different cards. Here the idea was that they had to group the words according to their stress patterns. So, for example, how it works. You can see they are working in a group of 3, and they just simply drag and drop these words to the stress pattern. They weren't actually doing this task, so probably you will notice that the answers are not really correct, but this is just to show you the idea how it happens in the classroom. Well, I will just back the video a bit. So sometimes it happens that, for example, their cursors cover some information on the board, and they cannot easily see a part of a sentence or something. So what you can do and what they can do, you simply, here there is a button, hide collaborators cursors, and you see that all cursors disappeared from the board. So you just see how the objects are moving around the board. If you want them back, you just simply press this button again, and you see their cursors. Right, now I'd like you to show how I actually prepared this activity on the board. So here I have this activity. So I just simply take a screenshot here. I drag and drop, I upload this screenshot on the board, and we can do very nice thing here. So by double clicking on the picture, you just cut the picture, and that's it. So you have one card. Then you copy paste, Control C, Control V. You have two cards, cool. Then you double click on this card again, and you move this area, and you have another card. Control V again, double click, you move this area, and you have a third card. Again, the same, oops. And you have the fourth card. So it's very quick and very easy to do. To organize, for example, this, if you want to have a few teams, for example, you cut these cards once, then you select all of them, copy paste, and done. You can move them all together if you again select all of these cards around the board. To make this nice, you can put these cards into a frame. Here on the left, you can see a button frame. Let's say I want a custom frame. So I select a frame, I move it, make it bigger, smaller, whatever I want. And for example, here, oops, here, I double click on this name new frame, and I can write team 1. And I can do the same for team 2. So that when your students enter the board, they can see that the area is divided into two teams. So they know, for example, that they are team 1, they are working here. Team 2, they are working here. All right. So let's move on. Now, so we have here our desks and chairs, our board, visuals. Now, we have, of course, students in a classroom who talk to each other, who cooperate together, right? And here, how do we make this collaboration happen in an online lesson? So, for example, this is one more example from my lesson, from my CPE lesson. Here, they had a text. It was an open-close text. They had to guess one word for each gap, fine. And then we did a reconstruction activity. So I covered the text, and they had to write something similar that they had just read. So how we did this? I put them into breakout rooms. They worked together, discussed everything together. You ask one person in a group to type their answer. And for example, if you have a Telegram group, you can just simply ask them to type their answers in Telegram group and send them to you. Then you copy paste from the group and you upload this on the board. Or you just simply show them a place on the board where they can, again, work together, type their answer, and then you put the original text together and the text that they reconstructed, and you compare, you underline probably some bits and pieces that are different and discuss all together. So how we can do this on the board? Let's say that they had a text. So for example, they read a text and then you say, okay, now I will cover the text. And I want you to reconstruct the text and make it as close to the original as you can. Okay, so you take the shape, you cover the text. You cover the text. That's it. If you don't want them to move this shape, you remember you can just lock it. That's it. They won't be able to move the shape. Long press and you can move this again. Easy. Then basically they just choose the area on the board. They choose text and they work together in their groups in breakout rooms and type this here. Then you put somewhere close to the original text, uncover the text, and boom, done. You check together and discuss. All right. Another interesting activity that they usually do in pairs when, oops. Here in this picture, you can see that they are sitting back to back to each other. And so the idea is that they cannot show their worksheets to each other. Okay, so how can we do this with the Miro board? Well, easily. Let's have a look. Again, this is just a video to show you how it would look in your lesson. So, for example, you have an activity that there is two students working together, student A, student B. Student A has some questions and answers to these questions. Student B has the same, the answers and the questions and the answers to them, sorry. So they need to work together. Sorry, I just realized that you probably don't see my presentation, sorry. Just a second. Could you please drop a plus into the chat box if you can see the presentation? Thank you very much. Okay, thank you. So you divide them in student A, student B. They need to work together and ask each other questions and check each other, but they cannot show the worksheet to their partner so that they could not see the answers. So how can we do this in our online lesson? Let's have a look. You can see two squares, student A and student B. They press the button and they just disappear somewhere. So here you hide a worksheet for student A and a worksheet for student B. Now, how you can make sure that they don't cheat and they don't go and see their answers? Well, easily, because as you can see, I hid the answers really far away from each other. And so they won't be able just to move the board and see the answers. They have actually zoom out. They have to zoom out and move around the board. And you as a teacher will see that because they will move their cursor. So you can say, no, go back. Mhm. So again, you put them into breakout rooms. They work together and discuss the questions in their pairs or groups, for example. All right. Now let's talk how we can set it up on the board. So let's say, for example, I need student A and student B. So I choose shape. I write here student B, student A. Okay. Now I want that my student A, did I do that yesterday? Just a second, I will check. Okay. So for example, I wanted my student A work here on the board. So what I need to do, I press the right button on this shape and I press link to. You will see this window. So basically you just need to find the object on your board and click on it. Press confirm, that's it. Here, this nice arrow appears. So when your students click on this arrow, they are just transferred to their picture or worksheet that they need to work with. That's it. Then they zoom out and go back to the lesson. That's it. Easy peasy. All right. Also, what you can do, for example, you want to share some link with them, actually a link from the website. So again, you press the right button, press link to, and you can paste a link here. You confirm, and when, let's say, for example, I will copy paste a link here and I press confirm. So when they click here, they will be transferred to the website. That's it. Okay. All right. So let's talk a little bit. I want to show you a bit more what you can do on this board. So here, for example, one more activity. It was just the beginning of the lesson. I like a warm-up activity. So I put the squares with their numbers and I asked them to put smiley faces, emojis, to show how they feel today. So to do that, you have here on the left, you have this emojis option. They just simply press the emojis option and choose drag and drop the emoji. And then they had to, again, I divided them into pairs and they had to talk together and discuss how their group mates felt that day. You can make them bigger, smaller, and so on. Just as an idea. Another idea how they can collaborate together. For example, here you can see like a phone and text messages. So easily the idea was that, for example, you learned how the language you discussed how to make invitations, for example. So all together they had to agree on place and time, and had to invite their group mates somewhere out, for example. So to do that, you have this wireframe library. You can see that there are a lot of different things here, so you can play with them. But just as an example, so you choose phone, and you have like a template of a phone. Then to make it kind of more real, we choose an avatar. We can even take this scroll thing to make it look more real, can make it bigger, and so on. And then how we do this, make these messages. So you press shape and speech bubble. Done, and they type something. Then again, another person wants to reply, so they press the speech bubble and then reply, type something, and they work together and like type the messages to each other. Also, one more activity that we usually do in our face-to-face lessons. Here you can see an example of a lesson. We were studying how to order coffee and cake in a cafe. So here in the workbook, in the students' book, sorry, they had like a frame how they had to build their dialogue. So to help your students and to make it more visual, again, you can do the same thing. Press the speech bubble, type the answers, copy paste, and for example here, sorry, here you need to choose text, write that this is student A, this is student B. And to show that these sentences are linked to each other, you just simply link them with these arrows. All right. This is how we can make the dialogues. Now, very important question that probably all of you have is how to set it up. So, so here is a trick. You need to register on Miro.com, and you need to invite your students into your team. To do that, you create a board. Let's do this all together. So here is my account, you can see. You create a new board, create a shared board. You close this. And then you want to share this board. So you press share. You, for example, write some name. And here, invite link to board and team so that they could edit, of course. Yeah? So you type their emails here, and you press invite. Done. Your students get an email with an invitation, and they can join the board. You can also do this. For example, you can share an invite link with those students who don't want to register on this board. They can just view the board, for example, and you copy invite link and send the link to your students into the chat box or in a Telegram group or wherever. However, they won't, so they will see the board, but they won't be able to do anything on the board. You can just simply share the board as I'm doing right now with you. However, what your students will be able to do on the board, of course, their abilities will be limited. However, there is a trick. Of course, you can use Miro for free. And if you use Miro for free, you can just create 3 boards. Only 3 free boards that you can edit at the same time. Here in my account, you can see that I have some boards which are view only. So I can open and see what is on that board. However, I cannot edit the board. So how we can change this? Well, I figured out a way how we can do this. So basically, you ask your students or one of your students to register and to invite all of you to their team. Here, for example, you can see a board, one of my colleagues, or for example, this is one of my students. So I basically asked them to create the account on Miro. They invited me to their team, and we can create 3 boards on their account. As an option, as an idea, this is what you can do. Okay. So seems like Miro gives us a lot of different opportunities that we can use in our online lessons. So is the Miro really that cool? Let's have a closer look at it. So what are the advantages of Miro board? Well, as you've seen, it provides visual record of a lesson. So your students have a record of the whole lesson, what you were doing, and you can just leave this on the board, or you can make a screenshot and send it to them, I don't know, upload on Google Classroom, or again, Telegram group, Viber group, wherever. Just to show you how it actually looks, for example, let's take a board of some of my students. So this girl has been studying for probably two, three months, something like that. So here, everything that we've done with her, it's everything on the board. She can easily open the board at any time, go, for example, to the first lesson and see what we were doing there. There is also an application on your phone, a tablet that you can use basically at any time, even, for example, during the lessons. Your student can use this Miro board during the lessons using their phones and tablets. Okay. Well, this is a real-time platform, and you can actually see what they're doing here and now, which is very close to what we have in our face-to-face lessons. Then, this is one place where all of your students can work together, can collaborate with each other, which is also very similar to our face-to-face lessons. From what we've seen, it becomes quite easy to monitor what they are doing. Well, yes, it saves all the information from all of our lessons. and it is easy to access the boards at any time. Well, of course, it wouldn't be so nice without disadvantages. It is a bit difficult to use. It's not the most user-friendly board, and you need to play with it a bit. You as a teacher need to spend some time and actually try everything yourself. Make sure that you know what you are doing with this board. But as soon as you figure it out, it's really easy, and I don't know, I find it the most useful tool in our online teaching. Of course, you need to spend some time at the beginning of your first lesson, if you decide to use Miro board, to show your students how it works, what they can do on the board. Just be ready for that. But as soon as they get used to it, everything will be easy. Probably you will need some time to help them with this. But overall, from my experience, all of the students really love this, especially the smallest ones, the kids. Seems like it's too difficult to give access to this board to, for example, 5 or 6 year olds. However, they really love it and they work really well on this board. Okay. Everyone needs to register on the website, and without that, they won't be able to actually use all the functions of that board, unfortunately. And you can create only 3 free boards, which you can edit at the same time, as I've mentioned already. However, I showed you the way how you can actually overcome this problem. So now this seems that everything that I wanted to talk about today, and now I'm ready to answer your questions. So please, you can type your questions in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself and ask the question. Anastasia asks if students are young learners, what is the best way to enable them not only to view the board, but also to work there? So what I did with my students, first, a few lessons, I shared my screen with them, and I was working on the board myself. Then they asked me, like, we also want to draw there, to highlight everything and move the objects. And I said, okay, so let's do that, but I will show you how to do that. If you misbehave, we will go back to just screen share. So as soon as you set up the rules, first of all. Second of all, remember that they can move the objects easily, so don't forget to lock the objects on the board, those that you don't want them to move. Just spend some time, and I think it will be very easy to work with kids on the board. How to create separate rooms or groups? Natasha Valueva asks. Okay. Separate rooms and groups, you mean a space, for example, where they need to work on the same activity, but in groups or pairs, for example, as far as I understand. So I think I showed that, but I will show this again in just a second. So for example, let's take the board. You copy paste a board. Let's make it nice. You want to have 2 teams, so you copy paste the board. You put these boards into a frame, so that they knew that, for example, this is their area where they need to work. You write team 1, and you do the same. Oops. For team 2. That's it. You divide your students into teams and you say team 1, this is a place where you work, and team 2, here, you work here. That's it. I hope that I understood your question. Right. Using breakout rooms. Well, yeah, of course, if you want your students to work together so that they don't interrupt each other, you just put them into breakout rooms on Zoom. Or, for example, it is possible to do on Microsoft Teams. It is possible, very difficult, but possible. You just need to create a few links for different meetings. However, it is very easy to do on Discord. Very easy to do on Discord. It takes just a second to change the room there. Can we have the recording of the webinar? It's so useful and practical. Thank you for sharing. Well, thank you very much for coming. We've recorded the webinar, so we will talk to our managers and we'll see what we can do. Sure. Any other questions? Thank you very much, Victoria. Yes. Still, everyone, thank you. Yeah. Well, I see that it was useful for you. Thank you very much. Thank you. So if you have any questions or anything, feel free to contact me. Yeah, you can find me on Facebook, Nataly Naradovska, or just simply write me an email, Nataly Naradovska, naradovska.n@gmail.com. Right. So I'd like also to share some of good news that we have in our school. So we still have a CELTA course online until July 2021. So this is where actually you can learn how to teach online more effectively. However, so you can just scan this QR code and see all the information that you need about this course. However, if you feel not very confident about doing your CELTA, you can prepare yourself a bit. And we also have a course which is called Teaching Foundations course. The next part will start next Saturday. Where we are going to talk about how to present language, how to teach grammar, vocabulary, and so on. So also you can scan a QR code here and join us on our course. Thank you everyone very much for participation, for sharing your ideas. So yeah, if you still have any questions, please contact us and we will do our best to help you. I wish everyone to have a good Saturday in spite of the fact that it's raining outside, and I hope I will see you in our next webinars very soon. Thank you. Yeah, have a good day. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. See you.